All right, YouTube, I've had few positive things to say about Obama throughout the last few years. I praised him on Cuba, and I said he got out of the way of an impending oil boom due to fracking, gas and oil, which was, let's face it, very helpful for our country and very shitty for most of our key opponents in the world. But you can add one more thing, I think, to the nice list of Obama, and that's that he never suddenly began dancing drunkenly at a funeral service or at a memorial for fallen police officers. George W. Bush apparently does not fall into that category. I mean, at this point, that's probably one more positive thing I'd have to say about Obama than Bush. Not that, not going to praise Obama here, but next to George W., even somebody who is significantly developmentally challenged usually is going to be seen as a model of good social moral behavior. Apparently, he just started rocking back and forth and doing. I think what I think happened. I think he's getting Alzheimer's and he's kind of demented. And that he thought he was back, or you remember when he was actually president, there was that time he visited Africa. He was actually a great friend to African nations. He visited them more than anybody else in American history, even than Obama has. And he was like doing the tribal dance stuff. He was obviously having a good time. He also looked a little bit inebriated at the time. I think that he had like an Alzheimer's flashback moment and thought that the music he was hearing was actually the African music and just started to dance along, sort of like Reagan towards the end of his second term. He was obviously showing early stage dementia signs, if not outright Alzheimer's. Some have said, yeah, he was fully demented. Others have said not really. And of course, thereafter, he was totally fucking completely demented and didn't know who he was or anybody else around him. I think, unfortunately, George W. may be headed down that road. The other possibility is he's back on the sauce again, which might explain why Laura Bush, when he leaned over to try, I guess he said something funny. Now, Michelle Obama laughed, and Obama actually looked like he had to bite his tongue to stop from bursting out laughing in the middle of a memorial service for a bunch of dead police officers, which can't possibly be good. That's by the way, that's the reason why the media is not reporting this, because Obama actually laughed at what Bush was doing at a funeral sort of memorial thing. It wasn't because they don't want to say, "Oh, look how dumb Bush is." They don't want Obama to seem insensitive. Can you imagine if the average person saw this fucking video, how they would see Obama's reaction to Bush's behavior? Meanwhile, Laura Bush, she's over there stony face like, "What the fuck is my husband doing?" Probably trying to give him a tight squeeze there, get him to stop. Everyone else, I guess, is sort of giving him the fisheye there for a minute there. And was wondering what the fuck he's doing. This is supposed to be a somber sort of memorial. This isn't supposed to be, this is a great celebration. By the way, we're going to have a picnic after, have a musical performance, that we'll get the Jonas Brothers in here or something, which would be about on George W.'s mental level, by the way. I don't know what Bush was thinking. I have to assume, again, either he had a dementia moment, which, he started, you can't chalk up all the shit that he did while in office to dementia, because he quite clearly wasn't. As soon as he left office, he started speaking coherently again. That was all an act, but now I think that the real dementia is beginning to creep up on him, many, many years later. You've got to realize it's been quite some number of years since W's been in office, and he still apparently is acting his mental age, which is about 4, and the other possibility being he had one too many supposedly non-alcoholic beers. I know he said, I quit drinking. No, I don't think so. I don't think he quit drinking at all. I think that he's just better at covering it up now. And I think when he's on his ranch and he doesn't have to worry about the public snooping on what he's doing, he's knocking them back. He grabs a couple Budweisers or something. But seeing this is actually like abnormally retarded even for George W., because even George W. in his finest moments of Bushisms, when he would make the verbal error and it would sound bad, like the one about Obgins being able to practice their love with women or humans and fish coexisting peacefully, stuff like that. The Bushisms, which were really funny, admittedly, sometimes. This is even bizarre for him. This is not just, he's being derpy. It's also he's being extremely insensitive. And at the very least, he tended not to be insensitive during somber moments. He was known for delivering relatively coherent speeches at such times, right after 9/11. And to see Obama actually laugh at whatever it was that he said to both him and Michelle, and then Laura Bush is like, oh, well, stop fucking dancing, you idiot. Fucking moron. That is why the media is not going to report on, oh, Bush started randomly dancing in the middle of a memorial service for slain officers. Not because they don't want to talk about Bush and how retarded he is. I mean, it's kind of old news, we all know that. But because Obama apparently found whatever he said to be so hilarious that during this somber occasion, he actually almost bursts out laughing. That would have been, it would have been difficult for the media not to report on it if he had been unable to bite his tongue. But just watch the video, it's in the description. It's almost surreal, seeing the way that these idiots are acting up here. You've got the families of the slain sort of gathered around them. You've got literally like the religious choir behind them. And you've got George W. acting like he's at a bar mitzvah or something. And then you've got Obama and Michelle apparently find this absolutely hilarious. It's literally surreal. It's literally very strange to see Dubya, even, of all people, act that way. That's about all. Peace out.